Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. How's it going, Michelle?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I've got these delightful drinks here that I've been drinking all morning on an empty stomach, so I'm feeling pretty awesome.
Drink responsibly.
Don't follow what Michelle does.
What is it?
What do we call it? A boozy coffee freeze.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So essentially blended coffee with booze in it. Mm-hmm. So Caitlin went to Starbucks and got us a venti iced coffee, no ice. So we threw that into the blender with a bunch of ice. Mm-hmm. And then we added some caramel vodka and some of that delicious Five Farms Irish cream. Mm-hmm. Topped it with a little bit of coffee granulars to make it yummy. Or, I don't know, decorate it.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Fancy.
Girl. Fancy. Thank you.
All right. Well,
we just picked our winners.
Oh, yes, we did.
For our 100th episode.
So we have 3 winners, which is awesome.
Ooh, you'll see that video. That's coming out.
It should be out already, yeah.
I guess so, huh?
But yeah, we're going to maybe figure out how we can make a link so you can buy your own if you want. Or
yeah. That's smart. Yeah, because we can do with a link. Perfect. With that. Oh,
so thank you to everyone who did a part of the giveaway. It was so much fun. We had a lot more people than the first time. So that was awesome.
Your odds were a little bit less for winning this time as opposed to last time. I think just about everyone who entered won.
Yeah.
Except for that poor person that didn't the one.
Yeah. Anyways, so are you ready to get into it already?
Fuck yeah, let's just do it.
All right.
Oh man. Kick us off, Caitlin.
So this story is about Jack O'Neill.
Okay.
And he is 27 years old. And it is June 15th, 2021 in Howth, Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where in Ireland that is, but
no either.
It's okay.
But
I'm like, how close is it to Five Farms?
So Jack and his 2 friends met up and to swim at the Lion's Head. This area, though, was inaccessible to swimming, but
they were like, forget it, we're just going in anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is this a natural water?
This is right off the coast, so this is like off the ocean.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Jack is an avid swimmer, like since he was 3 years old, and for the past 2 years, him and his friends would swim twice a week in open water very often. So they're used to swimming.
Oh my gosh, I watched this video. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but it was, I think they were in Hawaii, and a drone was above them taking this film, and so it's just these 2 people, like, just hanging out in the water, and there is a giant shark, like, just swimming around. At one point, the dude, like, backs up into the shark, and they still don't even know it's there.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they're just hanging out, completely oblivious, and there's this, like, dark shape in the water.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyway,
that's
now
crazy.
I have goosebumps, and I'm scared. So, sorry. Back to Jack.
So he is also very athletic. He's a rugby player and a CrossFit athlete. So he's in.
Do we have a picture of Jack?
We do. Actually, here. I will show you.
Oh. Hi, Jack. My word.
So, but on this day, even as a strong swimmer, he states, never underestimate the power of the ocean.
Indeed.
So they get to the Lion's Head. They had to use a rope to climb down to get to this area. So it's inaccessible for people to swim, but
they're like, we can do it. We're adventurers. We're young.
When they got there,
we're good looking.
When they got there, they had big swells in this area, but it was nothing that they hadn't tackled before.
Okay. This is making me very nervous already.
So they swam in many swells before, and looking at this, it didn't look any different than all the other ones they've done before.
Okay.
They still did some precaution things before they went in. So usually what they do, they will have one person go in just to make sure instead of all 3 of them just jump in and start swimming.
So they have like someone to rescue them if it's overwhelming or something.
Yep. They would look at the currents and plan how they would get out of the water. So they would have an exit strategy. So they,
Okay, so they're pretty prepared.
Yeah.
For swimming in these illegal waters.
So Jack was the one to jump in for the first one. But once he was in the water, he realized that there was a miscalculation.
Oh, it was not business as usual.
Mm-mm. He states, I knew when I got in that the swell was bigger than we thought. So I swam around to the exit, and when I got there, I just couldn't get out. Every time I got to the rocks, another swell would come.
Oh.
So one of his friends actually tried to help, but actually they got swept in as well. So now you got two people in the water. But his friend was able to pull himself out at that exit. Jack was still having issues, and every time he tried, a swell would come in and sweep him under.
Well, I didn't have I've always had respect for the ocean, but I didn't fully understand until we were in Maui. We went to Breakneck Beach. I didn't realize it was called that at the point. It was like Big Beach. So we went out, we went swimming, and trying to get back into the shore was a nightmare. I mean, I just remember at one point, like, I just got somersaulted all around.
Really?
And it's just like, just trying to get in. So you really had to time it. You had to essentially just let a wave bring you in. And then you had to, like, hightail it out of the ocean as fast as you could as soon as you hit ground.
Right, before it swept you in.
But so many times you would try and you would just get another wave would just crash on top of you, and then you'd just be tumbling, and it's very scary.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, terrifying. This is way more, I guess, violent maybe than I expected.
So then another wave came and actually dragged Jack farther away into a little cove. It was very steep and almost vertical sides. And that's where he was repeatedly pounded against these rocks.
Oh my god.
I know.
This is so scary.
So he was trying to keep his head above water. He states it was like being in a washing machine.
Yes,
like,
that's exactly how I felt.
That's right.
Oh my god, poor Jack.
So Jack eventually stopped trying to get out and just focused on pushing himself off the rocks with his feet so he can get air.
Out of that cove.
His friends on the rocks called the Coast Guard as soon as he was unable to get out of the first exit. Jack knew they would do this because that is one of their protocols. If any sign of struggle, they called the Coast Guard.
So they already have this well planned ahead. Well, that's good.
So he just kept trying to get air. His friends were yelling to him to just float. Just float on your back. Don't fight the current, But he states, but it was almost like a little vortex that I kept getting caught in. I was starting to get so tired because I was also spending a lot of my time underwater.
So you're just holding your breath the whole time, trying not to drown.
Yeah.
Trying to just barely get your head above water. Oh my god. Oh, this is so stressful. God.
He was trying to stay calm, but he was panicking internally.
Yeah.
Which is rightfully so. I mean,
Jack, I'm panicking with you right here.
He states, the one thing I kept thinking was that I can't have it be that I'm going to die from drowning. There's just no way I can allow this to happen.
I've been swimming since I was 3, a-holes. Like, come on.
So, actually, finally, there was a break, and he was able to push himself out of this cove. So, he's out of the cove now.
With his powerful, strong legs.
Yes. So once he was out of this cove, he actually swam as hard as he could to get into the middle of the ocean. So he's away from the rocks.
Okay. So he's heading further out.
Yes.
Okay. That's
he's
probably safe because, I mean, you're not being, again, just crash and crash and crash against rocks.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So he makes it there, but he's so tired. He is so tired. But he was able to swim down the shore a little bit sideways and see another cove that was less
rocky and terrifying.
Pretty much.
Maybe an oasis of non-waves. I don't know.
So he was able to pull himself out of the rocks. He climbed as far as he could, but his fingertips were all cut and bloody from all the times he tried to grab the rocks. Yeah. So his hands are just cut up.
Now sharks are coming.
Yeah. So he collapses from exhaustion and is just waiting to be rescued. He was freezing and his vision was going in and out.
Oh, God. So I can't imagine that the Irish coast is wildly warm. Ireland coast, Irish coast, I don't know what you would call it.
But yeah, no, I agree. I bet that...
I think it's like Oregon coast here where it's just cold and...
Super cold.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We're not swimming in LA or Hawaii.
Yeah, right. But it was thanks to his friends and fast thinking that the Coast Guard and the RNLI lifeboat arrived 20 minutes after he was having issues.
Oh, wow.
He was sent to the hospital where he spent 3 days recovering.
That's a long time.
I know, right? His friend, actually, who was swept in, also had to get 20 stitches on his hands because he also
was trying to grab a hold of the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, he recovered with no major injuries.
Ugh.
And I know.
It's like, what?
I know, right? Being pounded against
I'm surprised he didn't have like head injuries and all kinds of stuff.
Nope. But now it's 6 weeks later and Jack is back to swimming.
He's like, hell yeah, I'm going back into that ocean.
His fingertips scars are fading, so his hands are also healed.
I feel like he and I live different lives.
Same.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm done ocean swimming forever. Too bad.
But Jack is alive because all the small actions him and his friends taken before, like not swimming alone, having a phone nearby, and calling 112 to call the Coast Guard as soon as they realize anyone is in trouble.
Yeah.
They say the 2 reasons people drown is that they overestimate their own ability and they underestimate the risk.
Yep.
Jack states, my friends have said that we should feel embarrassed for what happened. Yes, we made a mistake, but I still have so much pride for myself and my friends that we did those little things that made the difference between me living and dying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The ocean is crazy, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, yeah. Anyway.
Jack went back to see the Coast Guard and the RNLI afterwards to thank them for saving his life.
Aww.
They also, another thing that people pass away from drowning is because it may be hot outside but the water is still really cold, so when people jump in it's a shock to their body and they can't breathe, and they said that usually the cold, oh man, I forgot what it's called, it was in this story, but the cold shock lasts 3 minutes, but that's enough time to drown.
Yeah,
because you can't breathe and you're in shock.
Well, and I think you start to cramp up too. And I think a lot of people don't realize like how hard it is to move your limbs when you're cramping up, you know, and then it just sort of sink like a rock almost.
Well, that's what they said. They said if you're in that situation, float on your back. People need to learn. I guess I never realized that people don't know how to float on their back.
When I was on the swim team, we actually had to do quite a bit of survival training in water. And so they would make us come like with a big sweatshirt and jeans and shoes, and we had to get into the water like that. And then we had to, like, for an hour, float there. Like,
oh, wow.
That was the entire practice that day, is you had to learn how to float with all your crap on and stay in the water for a really long time. And so they showed us the dead man's float, where you're on, actually you're face down into the water, and you let your arms and legs sort of just float there, like you're not using any effort to keep there, and then you just sort of lift your head up to breathe every now and again.
Oh, interesting.
And so it keeps you rested, and that's like the big thing is it's a lot of effort to actually even try to float when you're got all your clothes on or you're in the ocean or whatever. And so we just had to float, and you lift your head up every now and again, then you just put your face right back in the water. And I think it's also supposed to keep you, exposure is minimized, because you're not fully out in the sun with the rays coming at your face and everything. You're mostly in the water.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what we learned, you know, but that was back in the, you know, early 90s or whatever. So things may have changed since then.
That's very interesting, because we went to the lake yesterday and we were swimming and such, and if I got tired, you know, I would go back on shore, of course, before anything, but I'd also just float on my back just to give me a little breather, and I was just hanging out. I'm like, okay, and then start. But some of my friends were like, I don't know how to float on my back, and I was just,
you just get up there and then it just happens.
But they say they just sink. It's just so interesting to me.
I know. Well, all those bitches with muscles, whatever. Me, I float like crazy.
I know. I'm
hella buoyant.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I am very buoyant. I can float like no other. But... Well,
and especially when you're in salt water, it's much easier to float. You're just way more buoyant in salt water than you are in fresh water. But yeah, I would say learning to float is very important.
Absolutely. And... So please be safe, because it's still summer and it's still so hot here. So.
Oh, I know.
Please.
I read a thing that by 2040 or 2050, the majority of the United States is supposed to be an extreme heat zone.
Really?
There was another word for it, but it was like it would get over 120 or 125 degrees like more than 5 days a year or something like that. And that's what but I mean, we're seeing it already. Like we've had
not
temperatures
here. Well, here over
up to
100,
like 110.
Yeah.
I think wasn't last year, didn't
we
get
last
up
year it was like 117 or 115. Yeah, that's true. So,
the majority of the country will be part of an extreme heat area.
Dude, that day that was 117, Nick and I don't have AC, so we were just taking turns taking cold showers. Yeah. Like, just standing there, just in cold water. Because it was so hot. It was unbearable. Now we have a little portable AC unit, so
we have one surviving. In our bedroom.
Yeah, that's what we have it.
I feel like a jerk going to bed at like 7 o'clock at night, but it's so hot and there's nowhere cool in the house.
We just keep it on, and now my electricity bill is a little high, but you know what? It's worth it. Yeah. Definitely worth it.
Being able to sleep at night is such a thing.
It is. Oh my goodness. But so I'm so happy for Jack. Like I said, the water.
Can we maybe take a look at his picture one more time? Come on, Jack. I feel ooh.
But no, so, but okay, yes. Everyone please be careful. Jack, so happy that you were okay and safe.
And still swimming. Like,
man.
That is what's impressive to me. It's like, he just got right back on the horse. And
I mean, 6 weeks, that's like, pretty amazing.
It's spending 3 days in the hospital.
To recover, yeah.
I mean, that's not nothing.
No.
That's, I was thinking, by the next day he's released. And...
You would think, like, just let's, look at you just to check, make sure you're okay, but like you should stay for a few more days.
Yeah.
Just in
case. That's a little more serious.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Michelle, it is your turn.
I don't even want to talk about my story now. Caitlin unfolded a mystery on break and had me listen to a part where I was talking on one of the podcasts and you can hear whispering.
You can hear a whisper when she's talking, which is spooky.
Yeah, I have hardcore goosebumps, like... Hardcore goosebumps.
It was in the last episode 100.
Yeah.
Right in the very kind of beginning. Within the first minute.
It took me a while to hear it, but then once you hear it, it's hard to not hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, now that I'm terrified, I'll go ahead.
Kind of sounds like a man to me.
A little bit. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely more masculine than feminine. Ugh. I more just heard the whisper and not, but you think you heard maybe... some actual words.
It sounds like 2 words.
2 words.
Yeah, it sounds like 2 words to me. So
we're gonna have to send our file in to be like recreated and get rid of me talking, blah, and
see what it says.
Yeah, get the 0 in on that little chunk.
Yeah.
My God, what if there's been whispering in like all of our episodes?
You know what? No, there hasn't been, because I'm pretty I'm always listening for that, because there's another one in that episode where I say "go girl" or something like that, and then right after you hear "go girl." But it sounded like
goosebumps all over again.
But it's not. I think it was me. Like I said it twice, but like one's like "go girl," like something quiet.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
know,
you said.
but I'll have to show you that one too. But I think it sounds like me.
We're like, pause, go to it.
No, I think it was
I'm
me.
Just kidding. I'm not buying it for a second.
I try to, because I'm always aware of that, just in case I hear. This is the very first time on the 100th episode. So
it's
crazy.
Vaguely a dream come true and also a nightmare come true.
I know. Well, things started happening around here recently, so it's like maybe, I don't know. I summoned
someone moved in. I don't like this soup. I'm going to throw it in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what happened just the other day.
Oh. Okay. On to my story. I can't even concentrate now.
Sorry.
Okay. This the story is about Jonathan Bauer.
Okay.
So, and we are in Maryland, and I think we're around 2021.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date. This story was published in 2022, so it may have been then, but anyway, recently.
Yeah.
I took a picture. Because I thought he was very attractive as well.
He's a good-looking man. Yeah.
Well done, Jonathan. So him and his daughter are driving along the Maryland coast on this particular day. Jonathan is a technology executive at a hospital, so he's probably making some good money. Even more attractive. So I'm sorry. And then his 13-year-old daughter was in the car, Ava, and they were taking advantage of the nice weather. They had the windows down. They were probably rocking on the radio, maybe singing together. That's what I like to think.
That's cute.
And so they were headed home on this 2-lane Route 90 bridge.
Okay,
So,
2 lanes though.
2 lanes, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it goes across shallow waters of this Assawoman, probably said it wrong, bay. So, and all of a sudden, their sort of tranquil, fun time driving down on this bridge was completely, I don't know, disrupted by the squeal of tires up ahead of them.
Okay.
And so what they see is this black pickup is skidding from one lane to another, and then it slams into the concrete barrier that goes over the side. It spun like a top. It flipped over another SUV.
Whoa.
And then landed on the passenger side, on its side.
Oh my gosh.
And to make matters worse, the whole thing the whole truck went partway off the bridge. So the entire cab of the truck and the rear passenger doors, I guess, were off the bridge. So it's like teetering there, like just barely. Jonathan was able to like hit the brakes and started swerving because now it's becoming a pileup.
Oh, okay.
So he was able to avoid most of the vehicles in his way, but a BMW that smashed into the guardrail was kind of on his right, and it sort of was sliding back towards him. And so he ended up hitting the bumper of that BMW, which caused him to kind of get hit again. And so he was just part of this pileup.
Oh my gosh.
So he stops the car and immediately like turns to his daughter and is like, Ava, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine, Dad. You know, shaken up clearly because being in a car accident is wildly scary.
Oh yeah, it is.
Even just a small car accident. You and I were rear-ended.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean, pretty decently.
It was pretty decently, yeah.
It wasn't crazy or anything.
No.
And that was...
I was shaken
scary.
up. Yeah,
you know, and so of course Ava is pretty shaken, but she's unhurt.
That's good.
So he gets out of the car. He's feeling unhurt himself, and starts running to the other drivers.
Aww.
Like, are you okay? Are you okay? The BMW driver sort of just shook her head. Yes, I'm okay, but she was almost in too much shock to even talk.
Oh wow!
And then they hear this shriek, and they sort of realize it came from that black pickup. And that is now teetering, resting precariously on the edge of the bridge. So it's about 30 feet to the water from this bridge. Yeah, it's not. And again, these are shallow waters.
Yeah.
And so the driver's door of this black pickup opens, and then the driver's able to get up and get out. So he's kind of walking over, and unfortunately the guy only speaks Spanish, and so he's not able, like,
there's a language
Jonathan
barrier.
Yeah, there's a language barrier, thank you. Is not able to be like, are you okay? But what he does see is that the man is frantically pointing down to the water. And so he's freaking out. And so Jonathan looks, and what is down there is this 2-year-old girl.
Is what?
A 2-year-old girl bobbing in her car seat.
Oh my gosh!
So the car seat was flung out of the car and down into the water.
Oh my gosh!
And so this little girl is in her cute little pink polka dot dress.
Oh my God.
Is terrified, and she's kicking and splashing and screaming.
Oh, baby.
I know, poor thing. And so now there's lots of passengers all like looking down, and everyone's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then the toddler in the water's car seat flips over. And so now she's completely submerged in the water.
Oh my gosh. And like buckled in.
And I know. And so she rolls on her stomach, and like Jonathan's looking around like,
what do we
Who's going to do something?
Yeah.
And no one's doing anything. I think everyone was in just such shock.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is a pretty big accident, you know. And so he shouts to his daughter, stay in the car, and he's going to jump over.
Oh, shit.
So he's trying to, like, he knows that if he just jumps right into the water, most likely he will be pretty badly injured, because the water's again
very
only
shallow.
4 feet, you know, and you're jumping 30 feet off of a bridge. And so he tries to go for a belly flop.
What?
Because he thought that was kind of the way to slow himself down the most before he goes into the water. Because if he just went feet first, he would just crumple right on his feet.
Okay.
And so he executed the most painless belly flop ever,
really?
Is what he said. So he jumps off, and then a moment later, he was sort of bouncing off the sandy bottom, completely unhurt.
What?
So, yeah. He's like he was in complete shock.
I was scared to do a belly flop ever. So I guess I'm gonna belly flop into 4 feet of water and wow.
From 30 feet.
Yeah.
But I guess he did it just right.
Dang. Okay.
And so the toddler, the little girl, is now about 10 feet away from him.
Okay.
And so he pretty much runs over to her, or swims over to her, I should say, in some probably powerful strokes to get that sounded pervy. So he gets to the little girl, and her mouth is half open, her eyes are sort of kind of closed, and she's not breathing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so he gets her out of the car seat and sort of puts her up to his chest with her head on her shoulder and just starts hitting her back.
Okay.
To just try to get the water out. And he's just thinking, like, come on,
please.
And then he hears a retching sound, and it's some of the ocean coming out of this little girl. But she's still not breathing.
Oh, what?
And so he just continues to just hit her back. And then after like a few more hits, he hears another like retching noise, and then he can tell she's breathing. So I know. So, and then he said he felt the most beautiful sensation ever of her little fingers like grasping around him. I know. My God. I was reading this story and
so sweet.
So she opened her eyes, and he was actually able to focus on him. And so he just held her close to try to keep her as warm as possible, and then waded out of the water. Actually, before he was even able to make it to shore, a pontoon boat showed up. It was a family out on a boating excursion, and they kind of saw what happened. And so they tooled over to him, and they were able to get him up on the boat along with the little girl.
I thought it was only 4 feet of water.
Well, it's a pontoon boat, so I think it's still able to...
Okay, put around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they motored over to a boat ramp where an ambulance was waiting, and minutes later, the little girl was taken to the Johns Hopkins Hospital in a helicopter.
Oh, wow.
And Jonathan was hugging his own daughter next to all these banged up cars on the bridge. And it turns out the toddler had suffered a broken shoulder, but otherwise was uninjured.
Wow.
So she made it through. And Ava Bauer was so inspired by her father's actions that 4 months later, she became a cadet firefighter so she too could save lives.
Aww.
That little girl is going to live a whole life because of him, and it's incredible.
Oh.
So I know.
That's amazing.
So he jumped in. Isn't he even better looking now that we know he's a hero?
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job. Wow.
That was kind of a short story.
No,
I apologize.
No, don't even apologize. That was a great story. I feel so bad for the father, because I feel like with that language barrier and him in shock, like he doesn't know what to do in that instance. So it's very awesome that he took initiative and just
he's like, I'm going in.
Yeah,
I'm saving her. And I mean, that is a mighty jump.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 feet into 4 feet of water is
very it could
scary.
Be a death sentence for you.
Well, and what they showed in actually another picture is there was a ton of pillars that he could have easily hit. There was a bunch of rocks that he could have easily hit, but he just happened to land in this like sandy area, then was able to not be hurt at all in this crazy jump that he did.
That's crazy.
So
holy cow.
My bird.
Oh, my poor baby. Oh my gosh, your little polka dot.
Could you even imagine? No. And then watching it go, like, flip over, and now you know that she's drowning. Oh my God.
Holy cow.
I couldn't even imagine.
No. And that's really dangerous too, like when people get out of their cars with a pile up, because more people could be coming, and it's just
No, it sounded like there was quite a few cars in this pile up.
Do you know what happened? Someone just lost control, or?
Yeah, it actually doesn't say what
Interesting.
happened. I've seen that, though. I remember one time I called up my boyfriend just in complete hysterics, and he thought I was in the car accident because I was so panicked. I wasn't, but these, like, it was clearly some young people. I think they were probably like 18. Got onto the freeway and were just going super, super fast. And I don't know if they were like fucking around in the car or what, but they just turned a little bit and lost control of the car. And then they went over the embankment and flipped and ended up completely on the other side of I-5.
Oh my gosh.
Like the other way. And then I see this girl get out of the car and just start running.
Oh.
So I was like, what is going on? And it was just so like
crazy,
sudden and scary and everything that it was just like, I just started crying and freaking out. And called my boyfriend, and he thought I was in the accident because of my overreaction, perhaps.
No, absolutely not. Because that's scary. You could have just saw someone die. I mean, that's traumatic.
I know. It was a relief to see her pop out of the car and start running. So I don't know.
She could have been in shock because when I was younger in a softball tournament, this young girl was she probably early teens, but she was running across the highway because there was 2 fields on either side of this busy road. It wasn't a highway, but it was a road.
Still a busy road.
And she got hit. Oh. Someone hit her, and then she stood up and just started apologizing, and we're like, sit down. You just got hit by a car, girl. Like, sit down.
I was gonna bring it, and I was like, nah, people know what to do in car accidents, because there was another sort of supplementary article that went with this one. It's like, what to do in a car accident, you know, and...
What do you do? I mean...
Well, the main thing is call your own insurance. Oh. Sometimes you need to call the police. If it's just a fender bender, probably not, but if it's a decent one, definitely call the police. Do not talk to people. That was kind of the main thing. Like, a lot of people just automatically take responsibility for it. Yeah. And... even if it wasn't your fault and it's found out later that it's not your fault, if you said it was your fault in the beginning, there's a good chance that you could end up paying for the whole thing. Wow. Never talk to the other person's insurance, I guess, is a big thing. Talk to your own insurance, but don't talk to theirs. Okay. And don't say you're not injured. Because a lot of times you may think you're not injured at the time. Yeah. But then a day or two later you realize that, oh, in fact, I am injured. And because you got adrenaline, you got all kinds of stuff going through your body in a car accident.
Well, when I got rear-ended on the highway, I was in complete shock. And she was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was just I didn't feel anything because, of course, like you said, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And then we got insurances and phone numbers and stuff, and then I left and I was crying and called Nicholas. He's like, should you be driving? I'm like, I don't think so. I probably shouldn't be driving right now. I just want to be home. No, that's exactly right. I just wanted to be home. I just wanted it to be over. I wanted to relax. But then I went to get x-rays done and such like that, and I had, some issues with my neck and shoulders and such. So
yeah, you don't know it. It usually takes a couple days for some injuries to start showing themselves. Right. Yeah, so never say that you're not injured. Yeah. And what was the other one? Take lots of pictures. And try to diagram it if you can. I
took a lot of pictures, but I mean, for me, like the damage, it looked like it wasn't that bad, but it was forceful enough that my glasses like flew off and I couldn't find them. And so I'm like, if someone hit, I mean, that must have been a little fast if...
Well, and your car's meant to take the brunt of it. You know, unfortunately, you've got, a nice Toyota that does that. But still, I mean, I've been rear-ended probably like 6 or 7 times. It sucks.
But she did take all the blame. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was reaching for something and wasn't looking. And I'm like,
don't say any of that. That's exactly what you shouldn't be saying.
I know, but that's what I told her insurance people when they took my statement. Like, that's what she told me.
I mean, almost always, if it's a rear-ender, you've been rear-ended, it's almost always the person's fault who rear-ended you. Yeah. But, don't take the blame.
I did not take no blame. I'm like, you hit me, girl. But yeah. So what... We got off, sorry.
Well, car accidents, water, all kinds of craziness.
Drowning this episode.
I know.
Ugh, so sad.
I don't want to drown.
Don't.
Yeah. Hard pass. I won't drown.
Good. All right. So here's to episode 101, right?
And and here's to going back and listening to every single episode to listen for more whispers.
There's no whispers. Like I said, I am diligent. I am listening for voices.
So you're saying this ghost just moved in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone's chilling here. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe brought it. I don't know.
Yeah. I need to find someplace cool.
Yeah.
Caitlin's pretty cool.
Thank you. We've been here for like 2 years, so it's weird to all of a sudden be experiencing something. So. All right. See you guys next time.
Goodbye. Bye. Ghost.